Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is a tough one. I just saw this when I was doing another video. 16-year-old kills entire family and then calls 911 to drunkenly confess to quadruple homicide. A 16-year-old New Mexican boy was arrested Sunday morning after he allegedly gunned down his parents and teenage siblings and then drunkenly called 911 to confess to the quadruple homicide, police said. Diego is facing charges of first-degree murder in the horrific slaughter that happened around 3:30 a.m. before Valencia County Sheriff's Office received a phone call from the murder suspect. New Mexico State Police said in a news release, the teen allegedly said he killed his family over the phone to dispatchers and then walked out with his hands in the air when deputies reached his home in the city of Belen. They took him into custody. The suspect's 42-year-old father, Leonardo, his 35-year-old mother, his 16-year-old sister, and his 14-year-old brother were all found dead with gunshot wounds inside the home, according to law enforcement. The alleged killer was taken into a nearby hospital for detox and then booked in Juvenile Justice Center in Albuquerque early Sunday morning. Here's the interesting thing. As they always say, it's not being sarcastic, not being mean. This is usually what happens. A former teacher was in disbelief that the teen boy could be responsible for the ruthless slaying. I would never have thought that something like this would happen and that Diego would be capable of doing something like this, educator Vanessa told The Guardian. Everyone's in shock. The investigators are still trying to figure out what sparked the murderous rampage. He was so drunk they had to take him into the hospital and get him detoxified. Some people cannot handle alcohol. They shouldn't drink, and they should learn from that. I think something else was there, and this is just my speculation. This is allegedly. I don't know for sure. We'll find out sooner or later. But things like this don't just happen. I remember there was a kid once that assaulted his family member because they took away his Xbox. There was that kid that the teacher took away his handheld portable device. I think it was a Wii, maybe a Wii U, and then the kid assaulted her. Now they're like, oh, he has mental issues and mental problems, and he's always been a problem in that school, allegedly. There was the other time some kid murdered his father because he didn't buy him something. And then if you go and look up, there's always someone did something and it was so trivial that it was nothing. So whatever happened, he got drunk, so drunk that they took him in for his safety to get him detoxified. It wasn't like, oh, I'm a little tipsy, a little drunk. Normally they'll take people, put them in a drunk tank, hold them there by themselves, whatever they got to do. He was so drunk that they had to take him to the hospital to get him detoxified. Most likely it was just charcoal. They had him there. They put him on an IV. They monitored him. They cuffed him, and he was strapped to the bed as well, so that way he doesn't injure himself. But that's how drunk he was. He was intoxicated. Was alcohol a factor? Yes. What happened that caused this? Most likely it was trivial. It was so not even relevant that the alcohol caused him to be more irrational than he already was. I'm not saying that I'm blaming it all on the alcohol. I'm blaming the alcohol, but I'm also blaming him directly. If he wasn't drunk, he probably wouldn't have done this. But at the same time, this sounds like one of those things that if you really knew this kid, he was not, like the teacher said, I would have never thought something like this would happen, and Diego would be the one capable of doing this. Allegedly, he might have done many things in the past that would have shown that he needed to be taken care of or maybe even put in a mental facility. Now, what happens to him next, I don't know. But most likely it was they didn't let him go out hang with his friends, they didn't give him a few dollars, or they didn't buy him something, or they took away some privileges because he was acting up again. We won't know for sure, even if he says something. This is all allegedly, but there's no justification to this violence. Even if the father or the mother was sexually assaulting him, or doesn't have to be sexual assault, they could be physically abusing him or mentally abusing him. It still doesn't justify it. The father or the mother were physically abusing all the children and sexually assaulting all of them. And, he thought maybe in his own mind that if he kills them and then kills the family members, they don't have to suffer no more. And they don't have to live with that. Whatever happened, we won't know until he tells us what happened. And then, even then, we have to take that with a grain of salt unless he has evidence of physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual assault. Again, this is allegedly. I highly doubt that any of that was at this level. I could be wrong.